Okay, and because some people commented about the subframe here, asked why didn't we drop it and fix it because it was rusted through supposedly. It's not rusted through. So in video this looked like a rusty hole, but this is actually the only paint that is left here. Everything else rusted, but here somehow, I guess there was oil or stuff, and it just remained solid. The paint is still there, so no, it's not rusted through. It's actually in a pretty good shape. That's why we didn't take it down. But now that we're here, Nick might just buzz it with the needle scaler and we're gonna paint it now. So Nick is underneath. Well, look at that. I love that look with the new shock.
Yeah.
So I know we said in the end of last video that we were gonna start working on the other side, the other rear suspension. Well, we didn't because we figured that we can't finish it within the 2 days. So we decided instead of the rear suspension, we went and we dealt with the exhaust. There was a big hole all the way here on the down pipe, and then there was actually one on this pipe as well. So we didn't film that, but we went ahead and we cut these and we replaced them, and it was a disaster to weld, of course, on top, because the other way is to take the whole entire down pipe down, but it is complicated story. I think the engine needs to come out for that. So anyways, we did some kind of a good job here, but it has old welds everywhere from before. So anyway, it leaked a little bit on top, and I kept chasing it with the welder, and I kept chasing it, and finally I just left it alone. It was like just a little leak, but it was driving me crazy. So we put some exhaust paste on top, and now it's not leaking anymore. So that's how it's gonna be. Anyway, if it becomes worse at some point, we're gonna take a better care of it, but for now our goal is to put the car on the road, right? Because Nick is soon gonna go for his G2 driver's license, which is gonna allow him to drive on his own. For now he's only driving with another licensed driver in the car. So anyways, today again we don't have time for entire suspension. So what we're doing is Nick is gonna clean up this subframe. We don't want to drop it down because we have to drop down the differential and all that. It's complicated story. He's just gonna clean up that. He's gonna clean up these here because he forgot when he was dealing with the bottom of the car, and then he's gonna paint that. And in the meantime, we decided, I think I showed you that before, that we had extra calipers, rear calipers. So we actually decided that we were gonna clean these up, paint them, replace all the rubber. We actually got a kit here. We got the front and rear kits with all the boots and stuff. That's for the front. This is for the back. And we have for left and right. So yeah, we're gonna replace all these rubber boots here. We're gonna make sure that the caliper is moving back and forth. We're gonna clean it up and paint it, and then we're gonna just replace the rear calipers at some point. And of course we're gonna have to rebleed the brakes, but that's not a big deal. For the front ones, unfortunately, we don't have calipers, but we don't have problems with them. They were moving no problem, because the rear ones, one is seized. This part here is seized and I don't want to deal with it. But for the front ones, they have no issues, and we're perfectly fine to just replace these boots and clean the calipers and paint them. But that probably is not going to be today. That's going to be some other time. So I already took apart one of the calipers. Here's all the internals. I cleaned them and took care of them. The piston is even out, and I already painted it. Guess what color? Ta-da! It's red. I know. Isn't that beautiful? Well, it turned out that's the only paint, caliper paint that I have available here in the shop, and Nick said, you know what, keep it red, let's do it red, because he's gonna paint the car, what, red or white?
I don't know.
He still doesn't know, but red calipers go well on both, red or white. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if I'm gonna film a lot. Anyways, let's keep crack-a-lackin here. If there's something interesting, we're gonna show you. Where is that from? That's from your car?
Yeah.
You had a rusty beauty?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're derusting it now. Oh, that's like 2 pounds of metal. Weight reduction, right? All right, let's see what you've done. Okay, nice. Did you find any true holes?
No.
Why did people say that it was rusted through? Okay, so this part of the suspension we still have to take apart, right? So that's why he didn't touch here. But this side he's gonna paint now. And here, oh my god, you removed the rusted through spot. Yeah. Here, or no, it was on this arm. Oh, so there was more black paint here. Well, here you can do a little bit more, you see? All these
okay. It's because when I go up here, I go
on an angle.
yeah, and it doesn't hit nicely, but I can try.
Okay. Anyway, it looks good. Okay, it's Monday. Nick is gone. He's back to school. So we didn't do much work this weekend, but he at least was able to clean up this subframe and to rust convert it and paint it. So looks like in a good shape. I mean, well, he didn't spray over there, but again, this is a daily driver. It's going to be driven during the winter, so it's not going to last long. Soon everything is going to be rusted again, but at least for now it's going to look kind of okay. I started assembling the calipers, but they were still not nicely dry, so I started peeling the paint and I stopped. So I'm gonna finish assembling them now, and obviously I'm not gonna install them. We're gonna install them next weekend with Nick. For now I need to drop the car down and start working on my other rusty beauties. That dirty hands, dirty face, wow, he's a real mechanic now. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little update. We're finishing with this side of the suspension as well. It looks great, new bushings, new shocks, coilovers, and Nick did most of it. I just helped him. I don't know if I showed you, but we have these rebuilt now, sitting for weeks. So these are our spare set, so they are assembled and ready to go in. So I think we're gonna put those now with Nick, because we have the rear end in the air anyways, and this way we can tell the rear end is complete, and then we're gonna start working on the front end as well at some point on the suspension. All right, I don't know where we stand with video. I don't know if we shot a beginning of a video. I have no idea. But Nick has been crack-a-lackin here for a few days in a week, like every once in a while, because he's spending more time with me now in the summer. He works nearby, so he spends more time in my house. So every day, a little bit at a time, he's been taking apart things, cleaning up, replacing bushings and assembling. So the right suspension actually is done. Here we just need still to clean up the caliper and paint it, and that's it. We need to replace the brake pads, but that's all. And now he's working actually on the other side. I help him a little bit, but he's actually doing a lot on his own, and his stepbrother is helping him sometimes. So here the left side is disassembled. I'm not filming a lot because first of all I'm working in the meantime. on my daily projects here, TR6s and stuff like that, but also because it's pretty much the same as the rear suspension, like taking out bushings, painting and all that. But for now, Nick's just kind of crack-a-lackin here on his own. The sway bar is out and he's painting parts, like he just painted the vertical link here with the hub.
I actually ran out of headlining, so it's not done. But...
Okay, well there's one more can, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to buy more.
Sure.
Did you see that smile? He's expecting me to buy it. Anyway, that's where we are at. I just wanted to show you that we are still working on the car. Alright, it's another day and yet again we haven't filmed the other side with the assembly of the suspension, but again it is very similar to the rear suspension. We had to take the upper control arm down, we needed to take the lower control arm, and it had the same eccentrics here just like the rear suspension, so we can adjust the camber and toe. So it is assembled. Nick also cleaned the discs, and somebody mentioned before that we should buy new discs anyways, or rotors. I don't see a reason why. Like, why would we buy new ones just because these were surface rusted at some point? They cleaned up really well. They're not worn, they're solid discs, solid rotors. So the suspension is assembled. We still need to torque all the bolts. They're not torqued yet. Nick is currently cleaning up the calipers. We bought paint, we bought new brake pads, so we're gonna paint those and we're gonna install them. And the last thing that we were waiting for were boots for the steering rack, because we didn't have those, and these need to be replaced. So we also have the tie rod ends that we need to change, but I didn't want to change them before we change these boots. So now we have these boots as well, and we're gonna change those. We're gonna change the tie rod ends, and then the front suspension is gonna be complete, other than the sway bar, which we also gonna complete today, hopefully. But we were debating, where's the old one? It still needs to be painted. We ran out of paint, so it wasn't painted completely. So Nick is gonna paint it now. But we were thinking maybe we should try and install the beefier one, this red one, which was donated by a viewer, the guy who I bought my TR6 from. He also had a Miata and he donated a few parts, and we bought wheels for Nick, stay tuned for that, from the same guy. And he donated this sway bar and the lip under the bumper. So we were thinking of installing this sway bar. The problem is we don't have the mounts for it. So I told Nicola to take these out and to bring the sway bar. Maybe I was thinking maybe if I put them on the lathe, I can machine this hole bigger and use these bushings and these mounts. But look at that. Even without any rubber, we are still too small here. So we have to machine this to 0 and still it's not gonna work. So unfortunately we're gonna have to forget about this one for now, but Nick is gonna keep it in his room. Maybe he's gonna put it as a wall decoration, and eventually he's gonna buy the proper mounts and we're gonna install this in the future. So that's where we are. So he's taking a break, but he's gonna come back and he's gonna keep cleaning the calipers, and once they're cleaned up we're gonna paint them like the rear ones. For the rear ones we had paint, caliper paint, red, they look great, but for the front ones we didn't have enough paint. Now we bought paint, so we're gonna install that. So that's where we are. Just a quick update. Maybe we're gonna like we're not filming a lot lately. We're just trying to push it off the production line. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking again. What you doing?
I'm installing my sway bar.
You're crack-a-lacking on the sway bar? Oh, okay. Nice. New bushings, new links. Nice. It's getting together. So, what's next?
The tie rods.
Oh, okay. We still need to change the tie rods and the boots.
Yeah.
Yep, they're here. Hopefully we have the right one. The right boots, because they are for with power steering and without power steering. This car came with power steering, even though it doesn't work, or we don't know if it works, but so I ordered the boots with the power for the power steering, so we will see if they're correct or not. Okay, this tie rod end is out, and we counted the number of threads that it took to come out. It was 17 on this side, and we compared the old one to the new one. They're exactly the same. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this one 17 thirds, and of course then it's gonna go for alignment, but at least we can put it pretty much where it used to be. We installed this boot. This side needs to still come out into the groove here so we can put the zip tie, but he just painted here. And it's time for dinner, and after dinner we might come back and do this one as well. All right, it's after dinner, and this side is assembled as well, and I actually went through all the bolts and I made sure that everything is tight, because just double checking on Nick, right? And everything is good, and we were even able to pull out this guy. It's buried pretty deep down there in that hole, and you see that bolt on the top right. You can't access it from anywhere. It took me a while to figure out how to take it out, and we took it out because sometimes it goes chick, 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 chick. It just doesn't throw out the bendix or whatever it's called. So I just washed it a little bit. So tomorrow, it's late now and I'm gonna leave it alone now, but tomorrow we're gonna see why it's getting stuck sometimes. You have to go chick, 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 and then on the 10th time it kicks in. So yeah, but the suspension, now we can say all four corners are rebuilt. What's left is to assemble the front brakes. Nick just painted them today, the front ones. He painted the boot here a little bit. That's fine. We have new boots for here, so we're gonna replace those, and we have new brake pads. We're gonna install the new brake pads. The rear ones, I assembled the one side. The other side is somewhere in the boot. I can't even see where, but anyway, it is somewhere there. We still have to replace this caliper, because if you remember, we changed the rear calipers. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and then I think mechanically we're kind of okay for now, and maybe the next job would be to start assembling the bumper, the headlights, and everything, to see how it's gonna go. Anyway, we will see. That's gonna be from tomorrow onward. Tonight it's beer time. All right, it's another day, and Nick assembled the brakes. So with new boots here and everything, with greased inside. So I think it's time to do something more fun today. What is this? Wow. Okay, let's put it on that side. We just want to see how they're gonna fit, because we bought them, I don't know, probably more than a year ago now.
Oh yeah,
And the offset is pretty drastic.
holy crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of an issue here.
I like it.
Okay, but we're gonna have to roll the fenders, right?
Well, when the suspension compresses, it'll be like.
Yeah, right. We knew that the offset is a little bit too aggressive for a Miata, but we didn't know how much. So the spec for the wheels is 15/7 and the offset is 1.5, if I remember correctly. Positive 1.5. So we've seen on websites that recommended offset, I think is 25 to 35 for a Miata. Offset, if somebody doesn't know what offset means that mounting plate here, how far it is from the actual center of the wheel. So if the center of the wheel is somewhere here, 3.5 inches between here, the mounting plate here, mounting surface, is 1.5 centimeters offset in this direction. That's positive. If it is from here in that direction, that's negative offset. So if that offset was 25, then the mounting plate was going to be here. If it was 35, it was going to be here, which eventually is going to bring the wheel back in. But we have only 15 millimeters offset, which means the wheel sticks a little bit too far out and probably is going to touch the fender here. We knew that, so what we're going to have to do in this case is roll the fenders. We're going to have to get a tool. We know where to get one, and we're probably going to have to roll the fenders so when the suspension is compressed, the top of the tire doesn't touch here. That's the other thing why we want to look at it, is because we want to order tires and we need to figure out what size and whether we're gonna use these wheels at all, because okay, it's a few days or actually weeks later because we went on vacation and we're back and we finally finished with Nick all the brakes. So the front calipers he painted and he installed new brakes. I don't know how much of that I've shown you, but with the suspension complete, we wanted to complete the brakes as well. And now it is all good. Nick is sitting in the car still. We finally bled them all after replacing the calipers and all that. So brakes completed.
Yep.
Can you come out of there? Or do I need to lower you? Alright, so it's been a pretty messy video, I believe, because there's clips from here and there. But finally I can say now that we have suspension rebuilt, brakes rebuilt, and next I think we should start assembling the car with everything, with bumpers, with lights even, and everything, so we can see what we have, what we don't have, and then Nick is gonna start doing the body work. Well, one last thing, we're gonna have to roll the fenders. We started checking last time the wheels that we have. We have to do a little bit more research and see if we can use those wheels or not. Anyway, so I think maybe we should put an end to this video so we can finally upload it. Like I said, it's gonna be a messy video, but it is what it is, right? So let's record an ending for it. I'm gonna talk and you make...
That's my job.
Make fun of me behind me? Yeah. Alright guys, I'm sorry it is such a messy video, but it is what it is. Hopefully we're gonna start a little bit more organized video from tomorrow. But for now, that's everything. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing and sharing, and supporting us on Patreon and PayPal. It's really appreciated, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.